Alright, everybody. Welcome back. Ooh, is it good? Welcome back to another video. And today, before we get started, I'm going to go over a recent revelation I had. I think it needs to be a little bit more down. What do y'all think? That'd be perfect. Gyms might be top 10 in Huntington. It just might be. This phone's going to fall at some point during the video. I apologize. But it might be top 10. I'll just leave that out there. So today, we'll be going over the top 10 moments in my life, which is actually the top 10 eras in my life, but like moments sounds cooler. So like things can be happening at the same time, like during the same time period. It's just different eras of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll get it, right? So I'm gonna go over first some honorable mentions. I need to move this phone a little bit. Some honorable mentions first. I got the wedding day for my current wife is an honorable. I'm joking. She didn't think it was funny. I did. Honorable mention. So I have kindergarten through third grade, specifically the time frame, because like you were kind of conscious, you remember a little bit of it, but your teachers were cool. They didn't really get on you too much unless you were being a bozo, and there was literally no worries in the world, right? Halloween was a great time. I didn't trick or treat, but I always had a fun time doing some Halloween parties. There's so many cats running around the house right now. Next honorable mention is sleepovers in general. This might even crack the top 10 if it's just sleepovers at my house, because I like sleeping in my bed. When my friends would come over, I just kick them, or I'd be downstairs. No, I said that all backwards. They'd be downstairs, I'd go upstairs, right? So I had no issue. The cats are running everywhere. Maybe you saw them. So sleepovers are cool. Next honorable mention is Pokemon Go Summer 2016. If you weren't there for that, that's on you, because you missed out on something that Reagan's in a lot of pain right now. You missed out on something incredible, truly. When the world started going wrong is after Pokemon Go died out. So another honorable mention is the YouTube diss track era. I loved the YouTube diss track era, and my favorite was Rice Gum. I was a Rice Gum fan when it came to the YouTube diss track era. I love a good diss track. People in school writing diss tracks. What? Reagan's pointing at herself.
Me too.
Her favorite was Rice Gum?
Yeah.
You know Ball Like That?
Yeah.
I don't believe her. Which was your favorite one?
I don't know like that.
God Church. All right. So, next honorable mention is the Beyblade era / growing up with my brother. I have fond memories growing up with my brother. A lot of them, of course, playing games and whatnot. But the Beyblade era was a great time. Still have my Beyblades in the house. 4th and 5th grade. Shout out Andrew Gillespie too. He moved away. I gave him my first Beyblade. He still has it. Shout out Andrew Gillespie. But Beyblade eras were like 3rd, 4th grade, I believe. At Crossroads too. Huge thing. You know what? For games, it added Mario Kart. Mario Kart's a fun time too. Next honorable mention is my recent reading of the Goosebumps books. That was a really fun era I had. That was one of the more fun things I did. And then ranking them specifically was fun. If I had just read them, it wouldn't be up there. But ranking them and making a video about it, I enjoy that. I got to rank 62 things. More on that coming later. And then my last honorable mention is watching Game of Thrones for the first time. You could also throw up like maybe watching the MCU for the first time too, binging it over post-quarantine with Reagan. That was fun, but specifically watching Game of Thrones for the first time was just an experience. Shout out Jacob Lindroth for the recommendation for that. But yeah, so wrapping up all the honorable mentions, we're going to go to number 10. We're going to go to the Cinemark era. Now, the Cine Warfare group chat, great people in there. Jordan, CJ, B-Stick, Cody, Josh, Nathan, Connor. Just got some good people in there. I worked with some fun people over the years. I have nothing bad to say about pretty much all of them. And the stuff I have to say bad about others, I'm not going to. But, nah, shout out the gang. I closed all the time. One of my favorite co-workers, Joshy, that's my dog. Yeah, Cody, you got Brett, everybody, right? Shout out Caitlin, Colin. Stace, Hannah. But yeah, just the gang. There was a peak time during this. We had pretty much like, we had a group of people who stayed there for like roughly like, I feel like a year and a half maybe. There was like the same group of people for the most part. Like Lexi, Bridget, I don't know. People who were there understand the group I'm talking about, and we had a great time together. We really did. So, Haley, Jacob, Bailey, all some good people. So I enjoyed my time there. Got paid to not do the most. I enjoyed tinkering with the projectors, and then my TTA shifts were my favorite, except during the winter when we were closing really early and I was there alone. That was not fun. Free Bobby, as always. And moving on to number 9, we're going quarantine. So COVID is an awful time in general. People lost their lives, and I absolutely hate that. So sorry if that happened to you. It happened to one of my loved ones. However, in terms of pure activities day to day for quarantine, there might not have better time for Alex Carr in his life. So I woke up every single day, right? Woke up instantly to the bath, which I start every day like that. Spend a good amount of time in the bath. Hop on the Xbox with the guys, right? We had an afternoon COD session, maybe like a noon COD session, and then usually I would go hike. Maybe it's a mile hike, walk. They're walks, they're not hikes. Maybe 3, maybe 5, who knows? I'd be gone for hours, sometimes just walking around with Casey, Taryn. I guess it really was kind of just Casey and Taryn for the most part. Seth popped up every once in a while, but like the same people walking around. There was nobody on the roads. It was very eerie time when you look and think back about it, but I really enjoyed it. So after my walk, I'd go home and we'd have family dinner. Me, Nicholas, Mom, Anna, we'd have family dinner pretty much every night, most nights, I'd say. And then after that, it's like 6 p.m. or something, 6 hours of Xbox or Call of Duty with my friends. It could be my IRLs, it could be my gaming friends, it could be anybody. I was having the time of my life, right? And then after I got off the game, I read a book. I was reading Harry Potter at the time. I reread the Harry Potter books. I really enjoyed those, rereading them. And then, sadly, of course, White Reagan was not in town, so I didn't see her that much, but I got to talk to her quite a bit over the phone, which I really enjoy. So, she's giving me a mean look. That's not very nice. I'm making a video, but shout out quarantine. I also feel like, not to say that my sister and I got closer then, but listen, I don't know if you know this, my sister did not like me for the longest time. I had a chronic disability. She didn't like me. What was I doing? I was practically dead. So shout out Anna for starting to like me then. I guess you were forced to since you were living inside the house. But gamers during quarantine, we had stuff to do. I felt bad for Anna. Even Nicholas hopped back on the box. I played Warzone with him, Kyle, and Tim. Shout out Kyle and Tim too, by the way. But that's number 9. So, and obviously I go to sleep after that. Number 8 on the list. We're just going middle school in general, right? So I had a great time at Huntington East Middle School. I want to talk about the 6th grade first semester first, right? So the semester where Enslow and Beverly Hills were consolidating and all the 6th graders went to Enslow. Not to say that we didn't do a lot, but it definitely wasn't taken super serious by a lot of people. It was a transition time, and everybody was kind of confused on what was happening. So the teachers were a little bit more lenient, a little bit more, I'm not going to say playtime, we're in 6th grade, so we weren't like playing, but like we'd go outside, take a walk around the school real quick or something, you know what I'm saying? So that 6th grade semester was brilliant. It might have been my favorite semester of school ever. And then went to Huntington East, so it wasn't as fun, but also intramurals. We played Conquer the Pin, Yackle. Some people know ball. The Huntington middle schoolers don't know ball, and that's okay. But just an assortment of games during intramurals, homeroom versus homeroom, was a whole lot of fun 6th and 7th grade. And if we would have played in 8th grade, my homeroom would have smoked everybody. Not a chance we would have lost, like maybe even a single tournament, right? It was a shame. We had like me, Trent Speaks, Jacob Moore, Cameron Townsend, Dakota Mahone. We would have won everything. So, sucks that we couldn't do it 8th grade year. But I wasn't on social media then, really, besides YouTube. And like, I feel like social media, not having social media and not like just being like zoned in on your phone a lot is good as well. We would go to Geneva Kent a whole bunch. I would play with my brother's friends. We'd play football, go down to Giovanni's, eat, go play basketball or something. We're a lot, not to say that over the years, well actually yeah, over the years we definitely got like more accustomed to being on our phones all the time, but without social media, I was like disconnected from all the drama that was happening in middle school. So like I really was never involved up until like 8th grade. So I really enjoyed it. I did 4 sports then. I did basketball, soccer, cross country, track. I enjoyed pretty much all of them. I did soccer at the Y. I didn't know anybody on the soccer team really, but I was taller and faster than most people. Just because I was tall, I'm not fast. I just grew before everybody else. I'm old for my grade.
What is that?
I don't know. Ghost. All right. So moving on. Well, not moving on. Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 also kind of happened during this time frame. You got the year 2 BO2 for sure, and then the back end of the year BO2 life cycle, and then November to like April BO3. And let me tell you, there might not have been a more casual, fun time playing games. Shout out Joshy. Shout out my brother's friends. We played back in the day all the time. My Black Ops 3 gang. Shout out Blake Kane. You got Ben Westfall in there. Seth, Cameron. I don't think Case played with us too much back then. But yeah, we had a squad. Mize Baller 10. We just had a squad in general. It was a great time with each other. Are you guys taking a picture of me? But I really enjoyed Black Ops 3. The multiplayer was really fun. It was the last time I had fun in pubs, so you just had to be there. You really did. The best 2 COD games of all time, BO2, BO3. Anything else from middle school? Coach Bass, shout out Coach Bass. I really enjoyed my teachers throughout that process too. So yeah, that's number 8 on the list. Number 7 on the list is going to be 4th and 5th grade / the neighborhood gang. So 4th and 5th grade, probably my 2 favorite years of elementary school. I had Miss Goodson in 4th grade and Miss Cutler in 5th grade. So Miss Goodson in 4th grade absolutely made 4th grade so much fun. I absolutely loved her as a teacher, one of my favorite teachers ever. She'll never watch this video, and that's fine. But I absolutely loved having her as a teacher. She inspired me a lot. She was very hands-on. We would do like we did a Native American study, right? So it was like me, Alyssa Miles, and Robert Jones in one group, and we had to make like in a shoebox, like this clay thing, or it didn't have to be clay, I think ours was clay, of Navajo, Native Americans, and then like for science, we had to make this big poster, and my group was like Andrew Clark, Haley Insco, we did the small intestines. She was a very hands-on teacher. She always do give me 5, which is kind of a fun way. It was like eyes on me, voice to 0, body still in control, hands free of all items, listening, waiting for directions. So like, I like the give me 5 system. It gives you time to finish your conversation. Shout out Miss Goodson. And then, but there wasn't too many people in that class that like, it was a, like a lot of my friends were in a scrimmage class for that one. It was like me, Nick Johnson, Torin, Caleb Mills came towards the middle. There is a ghost in the kitchen. Came in the middle. Caleb Mills came in the middle of like time. Also was in that class. Who else was? Obviously Robert, Andrew, Haley. I think Envy was in that class too. I don't remember. But Miss Cutler's class. So Miss Cutler was really chill. That was the first time where like, it definitely was like teacher student, but she joked around with us a good bit, right? That class had all the guys in it, right? I think the only ones that weren't were like Caleb, Logan, Matthew Abbas. Shout out Matthew Abbas. Love Matthew Abbas. I should have mentioned him during the BO3 thing. Lead me to the fun. My fault. Nominal gang for life. But, oh gosh. Here comes Minnie the cat. Please go away. But, no, Minnie. Get out of here. No. You don't need to come over here. You're gonna knock this phone down. Go. I'm not cutting that. But, so yeah. 5th grade was a banger because of everybody in that class. Miss Cutler joked around with us. Like, it was like me, Sean, Torn, Ryan, Andrew, Caleb Mills. I don't remember. It was a banger of a class, right? It was the basketball team, basically. Wish the Leafs would not have moved. Neighborhood gang. Speaking of that, great transition, by the way. That was like specifically when Neighborhood gang was out and about all the time, right? So it was like me, my brother, obviously, Jonathan Leap, Ryan Leap, Nick Maynard, Max Howe, and then Paxton was over a good bit too. We would do stuff like all the time. We'd go down to the Beverly Hills football field. We'd go to the baseball fields. We'd play pick up basketball. We would play football on the street. We would play at Nick Maynard's house, go play college football. Truly a great time. I'm sure we didn't get in like fights or anything, but of course we're competitive like children, so we always had a good time. But yeah, shout out the Neighborhood gang. I just want a specific shout out for them. What else do I have in my notes here? Basketball. We won the 4th grade Cabell County basketball. Oh, it was actually the 5th grade Cabell County basketball championship. Me and Torm were 4th graders playing up on the 5th grade team. Still smoke Southside. Y'all don't want no smoke. Bryson Parker, trash. Everybody else, trash. I think Jada was on that team. Trash. Smoked. How you get beat by me, Torn, Max, Paxton, and Elijah Fisher? We can't let that happen, right? Back to back. It was double Elam. Beat him 2 games in a row. Iced him. Winning free throw. That's what I do. What a bum team, Southside Cardinals. Losing to 2 fourth graders. So we'll go on to number 6. Number 6 on the list is going to be college/esports. So this whole era kind of blends in. So obviously, the beginning of college, it was quarantine, so you didn't meet that many people. But Casey came over a good bit during his freshman year, and I'm not gonna say lived at the house, but he had dinner like 3-4 nights a night at my house. That was when Casey and I became pretty close. We were already close beforehand, but actually that's when he became really close to my family, I suppose, right? So yeah, sophomore year was cool. Shout out my boy Simeon, my dog Simeon. Met him sophomore year, and then some of the other accounting gang members, some of the other accounting gang people. There we go. We got Simeon, we got Evan Horsley, dog, Dakota Gilliam, dog, Gene Park, dog, Emily Ball, dog, all kinds of people. Shout out Dave too. We'll just give him a shout out while we're here. Trenton Hogsett, dog. Jacob Lindroth, dog. Recently got a house. Shout out Jacob Lindroth. I had a great time. Also, I forgot to put this in my honorable mentions. Honorable mention, John Craig in general for existing. I love John Craig, one of my favorite people, and I feel like he's sprinkled throughout this. But like in high school, like we'll get to it later. You'll see. But shout out John Craig. Honorable mention on it, like by himself, but he helped out all of us. He didn't know it because he's helping out me, but then I helped out others. They helped out me, whatever, right? Team. Ben Noble, too. Who else we got? Michaela, Rihanna. Is it Isabel or Isabel? Shoot, I forgot. I'm sorry. Andrew as well. I'm missing anybody, sorry. So that was all the accounting gang. Finance gang, Sam LeGros. Yeah, Sam LeGros was, Ben, Chad Heiner. I forgot about these people. Hayden Atkins, all dogs. Killed that finance capstone together. Well, Sam and I killed investments together. Shout out Sam. He killed stock track stuff. So, but yeah, that's like my actual school stuff. And then I did esports marshal for 5 years too. Minnie the cat needs to get away. Go, get out here. But Minnie. Oh, you went over here? Come here. I'll help you out. If she goes over there, that's okay. Up here. But there you go. I did esports, so I played Halo. Played COD, of course, too, but mostly COD. Shout out Ben Weezy, had a great time with him. Brendan Flynn, Zach Gambler, blah, 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 blah. COD team. My boy Fossey played with us, Trace Atkins. But I really enjoyed this time period because I don't know, I'm a competitive person, and when you get to college, you're not really doing anything competitive, but esports is a good way for me to do it. And then you can't talk about college esports without talking about my boy Nathan Crouch either. My dog Hits got a LAN win. LAN is an in-person tournament, got a LAN win with him. And the legendary Cinderella run that the Marshall COD team had. Me, Nico Paralysis, Action Jackson, Stewski, all my sons. I recruited all of these people with zero funding. I recruited Action in a bathroom in Pennsylvania. Nico was on Twitter. He didn't have either requirement filled to get into the program he needed to. We made it happen because that's what we do, right? Finishes, if you don't count a school with 60,000 people, we finished as the highest placing non-scholarship team in the country at a little Marshall University. That's what we do, man. We're on a Cinderella run, unranked. It's the top 8 in the entire nation. It's top 7 in the entire nation. That's what we do, right? So yeah, very happy with how that happened. And then just, I guess, esports in general. I want to shout out my other friends. Jaron Jansen, Mike Kipp, Dustin Tinney, Johnny, just the whole gang, Dre, Nova, a WVCL as well. We'll throw them in there. I just like competitive gaming. It's a good time. So I'm slotted in the 6th spot. Number 5. We'll go with my sophomore year of high school specifically. I could go kind of all of high school, but I want to hone in on sophomore year of high school, right? So that's when we could start to drive. Some of us, Casey could. I could start to drive then too. I just didn't. So I passed out in high school a good bit, and I was sick in high school. But I had a great time, right? My friends and I bought boats. I started dating Reagan. So what really made this year a lot of fun was that my brother's friends were seniors, and obviously my brother was senior too, but we were sophomores, so like they could joke around with us a good bit, and we would do stuff with them all the time. They were over, my friends were over. That summer when Matt lived at the house, and every single night, we weren't partying, obviously, right? But we hung out every single night, and it was a great time. I got really close with Ethan then too. Love Ethan. That summer, that sophomore summer, it was like there was like a 2-week period where it was literally just like me, Ethan, and Davis in town, right? And even Davis left at some point because Casey and Sam went to the beach and Cameron was at the beach, but like everybody was gone, right? That sophomore year summer was a lot of fun, but that's what I think made that year special. We had a good football team, good basketball team. We won state championships. Did we win the tennis that year too? No, but that's what kind of made it a good time. And it was before like a lot of classes got hard, right? So your science classes, biology and chemistry, were decently hard, but the rest of them like were pretty straightforward. So you didn't have to like worry and study too much. You had a lot of free time on your hands. I actually got to run in 2 cross country meets, which was nice. Didn't run track. Swam. Swim was a whole bunch of fun too. Shout out Brooks Anderson. Great leader on the team, by the way. I really enjoyed looking up to him as a athlete. He had the right mindset. So really enjoyed that. Who else? Kyle, Nicholas. Had a good time on the swim team. That was when like a lot of my friends, like I guess it was Isaac, Khaled, Cameron. They like really started contributing heavily to the team, so it was a lot of fun to watch them compete. So yeah, I really enjoyed swim that year. It was a good time. What else do we have? Did I write down? I said could be all of high school. I guess we'll go over freshman year real quick. Shout out that senior class. Dewey, Joe Tuma, Chip Sweeney, Kobe. Who else we got? Grant Subic. How could I forget Grant Subic off the top of my dome? Miss Dumphy. I had a great time with that homeroom. So junior year, shout out. Oh, hold on. You can't go sophomore year without talking about Miss Epperly's class. Miss Epperly's class was probably my favorite class I've ever had. Miss Epperly's a fantastic teacher. She was caring. She always asked questions about my health whenever like I wasn't feeling good. But aside from her being a great teacher, we had a great class. So it was a perfect mix. It was like me, Torin, Ethan Davis, Rankin Sam, Caleb, Hannah, Tess Reagan, Peter Burberry, Seth, I think, right? Seth, maybe Rankin too. Mackenzie Graham. Shout out Mackenzie Graham. She's great. But yeah, that class was great. Really good class. And then chemistry I had with John Craig. Shout out John Craig. I haven't talked to him about high school. The last when John and I started becoming, we were friends then during the swim team. Every single time before a meet, he slapped me in the face. Don't screw it up, right? I wouldn't wear a cap. He made me wear a cap once, and I obliged. But high school was a whole bunch of fun. Sophomore year specifically. Senior year, junior year, that was fun as well. But that was probably my worst year. In hindsight, Miss Dillon was a fantastic teacher. Reagan learned tons from her. I learned a good bit from her. We had our first mod, and unfortunately for Miss Dillon, I'm sorry the way we behaved a lot of the time. It was me, Isaac, Casey, Davis, Ethan, Sam, Nick Chambers for a little bit, Caleb, Reagan Tess, Elisa Maseku. A lot of people in that class. It was a good class, right? But they gave her hell, which wasn't nice. I didn't really give her hell that much because I wasn't there. I missed like 90, 100 days. Shout out Miss Dillon. And then you can't talk about high school without Miss Mackey, their honors program. Latin, loved Latin class. What we used to call ourselves, it was me, Drake Bishop, Alex Holland, Matthew Abbas. I'll have to text Matthew. But yeah, so, oh man. What were we called? I don't know. But there was this thing where if everybody showed up, Miss Mack would sometimes give us extra credit. Our class was just not showing up. Me and Matthew were just never in school. So, sorry. Kelly Campbell was in Latin 3 with us? Yes. Love Kelly Campbell as well. Had a great time when she swam senior year. We'll transition to senior year, sure. Senior year was a lot of fun. Got cut short, and that's okay. Well, we lived with it. I got to have a speech at graduation. I wrote it the night before in the bath, or like 2 nights before in the bath. I had the shortest speech. I just wanted to make it quick. Ain't nobody trying to sit there in the sun. I'll just say it. I had the best speech. I did. Sorry. But I ain't go up there with all that BS. I'm so proud of us. Nah. Come on, Isaac. Come on. Ain't that serious. Ain't nobody trying to hear anybody talk. So, yes. Got that done. What else happened senior year? I don't know. AP Stats with Sam and Rasan. A piano class with Preston Sellards. It was Jackson Parker and Preston Sellers. Jay Piss. Lunch with Torn and Dylan. Yeah, Freeman. Oh, you can't talk about not having either of the Freemans in there. Mrs. and Mr. Freeman. I had theater with Mrs. Freeman sophomore year. Another reason why sophomore year is the best. That class was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that class. And then Mr. Freeman he was fun too. And then 7th mod had Mrs. Williams, and she was a lovely teacher. In 9th grade, I had her for English honors, and we learned a whole bunch of English stuff. Reagan helped me write a good bit of my stuff, Mrs. Williams. I'm sorry if you ever see this. There's a funny story, actually, another day. But, and then 12th grade, it was an English class as well, but we learned about real world issues. In learning about that type of stuff in a school setting with someone who's educated, definitely helps in terms of like worldview with that type of stuff. So shout out Miss Williams as well. I could shout out a lot of teachers. They're never gonna watch this. This is for my own entertainment, for the people who actually watch this, which is like 5. So if I missed anybody, let me know. So yeah, sophomore year of high school / all of high school. Maybe I peaked in high school. Maybe I didn't. But if you think I peaked in high school with having a chronic disability, you just might be wrong. I hate to tell you. I really do. If I peaked in high school with a chronic disability, that's on me. So, number 4, we're gonna move on to like a little bit more, we're narrowing it down a little bit. So we're gonna go Christmas Eve / Halloween / just the Farrells in general. So the Farrell family has been family friends with us for years, right? Sean and Michelle Farrell, Paula Kermeen, Mr. Butch, sorry. Randy, Lisa, our old neighbors, Mayor Farrell, Miss Charlene, yeah. Just a great time with them in general, but my fondest memories were always Christmas Eve. It might be because of the food, but everybody was in one spot, everybody was happy. Even if it was snowing and mom had to drive home, spirits were always high. And usually, like, pretty much there was always, like, at least, I won't say that in case any kids watch this, actually, but that was a lot of fun. I always enjoyed our Christmas Eve. And then Christmas, you go to their house sometimes too, or Miss Paula's house sometimes too. So I have a lot of fond memories. Even at Crump Street, I still have memories of that. So I absolutely love Christmas Eve with the Farrells in general. And then Halloween pumpkin carving. You don't know ball if you don't know about the Parkway Drive pumpkin carvings and pumpkin hill rolls, right? If you weren't there for that, it's on you. Sorry. Absolutely a blast. I actually hate getting messy, and the actual pumpkin carving, not my favorite thing to do, right? But I always did it. I put one or two pumpkins out there, right? Sam and Marissa, when we went up to wherever they live now, came with us a few times. Sam and Marissa, it was always fun to work with them in the pumpkin carvings. Shout out Sam and Marissa too. I had a great time with you all. I probably should have spent more time with you all while you were here, because I really enjoyed our relationship. But you're in med school, and I was young and liked video games, so that's on me. Apologies to you too. But Halloween, man, I have grown more fond of Halloween over the years. I love fall. Maybe a season's ranking next. But yeah, so absolutely just having a great time with the Farrells in general. Vacations, different things of that nature. I'm just saying the Farrells, and I'm grouping them in all in one, like Randy and Lisa. I'm just grouping them all in there because I don't know if anybody, if I said the Farrells and the Blacks, you all are going to know Randy and Lisa more than the Blacks, right? That's their last name. Wow, I don't want to get canceled. But, so yeah. And the Kermeenses, but they're all the Farrells to me, right? So, Christmas Eve with the Farrells is always a good time. Number 3 on the list, we're going to go, again, similar situation to last time. We'll go Sunday brunches with Dad and Co. when they were still home. So my parents got divorced when I was little, and they co-parented very well. So even though they were divorced, there was hardly, well, it might have been issues. I didn't know though. They were good at hiding it if there were, but there was hardly any issues. My stepmom is fantastic. Shout out Jessica. My mom, my dad all got along really well. And every single Sunday we go over, and well, not every single Sunday. Some days we would go out to eat, but like most Sundays, Dad would cook just a feast for leftovers for us to go home to. Fried chicken sometimes ham, sometimes spaghetti, sometimes breakfast. Anything we wanted. Quesadillas. He used to make the best quesadillas of my entire life, and I've never been able to recreate them. It was at 9th Street, 9th Avenue. I have no clue how he did it, right? But obviously, family is very important. So having them all in one place was a lot of fun growing up. And they eventually moved to Louisville, which was better for the kids, of course. Ella and Grant, I guess I haven't talked about them too much. They were like little back then, so like in terms of relationship, it was more like we didn't have conversations with them that much. You'd kind of just, they were kids, but I still have fond memories of them, So yeah, Sunday brunches, but just being with family in general. I'll cut to just shout out mom. Living in the house still. Love mom. We've gotten a much better relationship over the years. Not that we ever had like a super rocky relationship, but when I was sick, and she was taking care of me, you definitely learn to appreciate someone more, even though when you're hurt and they take care of you. So not all moms do that. And so having one that really took the time to take care of me was very nice. So, and then of course my brother, I'll mention him later though. And then my sister too, Anna. That was a rocky relationship. She didn't like me for years. But that's okay. We have a great relationship now. I just DD'd and took her to the union with her boyfriend Garrett. Shout out Garrett. But yeah, so just family time in general. I really enjoy it. And I didn't appreciate it enough at the time. But now I do. So that's how most things work, right? You don't really appreciate something until it's over. It's a corny line, but it might be true. Then I specifically picked Sunday brunches because Dad makes good food. I'm not gonna lie. So, but yeah, everybody being in the same spot's always a fun time. That's number 3 on the list. So number 2 on the list is just gonna be the Bone Zone in general, right? We got Torn. I've grown up with him. He's one of my best friends, and he'll always be one of my best friends. Gave a speech at my wedding. He almost died one time. I stayed by his bedside. Genuinely just my best friend I've ever had. So, love Torn. Not a lot of people can get him to talk about anything serious sometimes because he acts dumb a lot of the times. Not dumb. He acts silly is a better word to put it. Better way to put it. But Torn and I will always have a good relationship. So, Torn, Casey, I guess we'll just like go through a little synopsis, right? Casey, middle school, ran with them. That's my dog. Coke exploding. He knows what that means. He'll never watch this, but that's a good memory. Ethan, wedding MVP, USS Texas. Oh no, Ethan. I have these written down. Cameron, Beverly Hills Gym, elementary school. He knows. I'm sure he does. And just gaming through him throughout the years and just hanging out. Isaac, DDing for Mia, Anna, and Reagan. What a night, Isaac. Anytime he comes in, he pops in, sits down on the couch. We have 3-hour conversations. That's someone who I can talk to about life and what goals are. And, at the end of the day, we both are kind of, I'm not going to say arrogant, because I don't want to speak on his behalf. I'm arrogant. He's confident. But we can both kind of be ourselves without being judged in that regard. I feel like we relate with that. My dog, Seth. We were playing football together in kindergarten, Seth. So that's my dog, La Chapelle. Car rides too, fun times with Seth. Seth is someone that I've never had a fight with pretty much any of these people. Maybe 1 or 2 here or there, but like nothing serious. Well, looking back at it, nothing serious. But shout out Seth. Nicholas, my older brother. Oh, how I love you. You're an interesting fella though, aren't you? What a wild life he has lived, a very different one than me. But one thing we both have in common is we don't care what other people think. So he does what he wants to do and I do what I want to do, which are vastly different, of course, right? We both like money and having fun, though. We just have different ways of distributing the money and having fun. So growing up with him as my older brother was absolutely clutch. Most of the things he did in his spare time, extracurricular activities, as I grew up, I realized that I probably shouldn't be doing some of the things he was doing. So he set a good example in that way, at least. I'm kidding. He was a great older brother to have. He kept me in check at good times. So Anna and I used to fight, and he'd always take Anna's side, even if like she started or she was wrong. She always would. So I was always 1v2, and I would win. But And then when 1v3ing, I couldn't do that. When an adult stepped up, it was curtains for me. So shout out Nicholas. Jackson, that's the captain. He knows. Davis, Disney Adventures, Sports Talks. Genuinely just probably the nicest heart I know. He just has a really good heart, right? So shout out my boy Davis too. I love him. What a crazy life he's lived too. North Carolina, West Virginia, Morgantown, Florida, Manhattan, or New Jersey, now Manhattan. Like what? Whew, that's a lot of moving. And I guess you can't shout out Davis without shouting out Jen. She's not a part of the Bone Zone, but like they've been dating for a while, and Jensen's cool. She was at the wedding, so shout out her too. For time out for high school, I also didn't shout out Olivia Miller. She was one of my best high school friends, so shout out Olivia Miller as well. What else we got here? Sam. It's funny, right after each other. Sam just boat stuff, dad jokes. He's a hard worker. Every single summer, buddy would work like 2 jobs. He'd work on a farm. Dependable when you need to be, not when you want him to be, right? When you actually need something that like needs to get done, Sam is there. But if it's something that like doesn't really need to get done, that dude Sam is not doing it, right? So his job is civil engineer, which is tell people how to fix things, which is the perfect thing for him, or like how to make it more efficient, which is the perfect job for him, right? Love Sam Pittman, love his family. Shout out Lee and Emma as well. What else we got here? Rankin, Elf, and Ukla. Nick Chambers. Love Nick Chambers. Ran against him in middle school, played football, soccer against him throughout the years, ran cross country against him. I would say a little funny thing. He gave me a barber. I went to get my hair cut by him once because he moved right after Nicholas left. So I only got one haircut with him, I'm pretty sure, actually. But he told me some really solid advice, and I'll leave it at that. So shout out Nick Chambers. Love you. Hope you're doing well in ATL. Foster, my dog Foster, my personal chiropractor. I love Foster, right? Got a man crush on him. Gaming, we just got some chemistry in gaming, of course. He's somebody who is naturally talented and gifted at any game he touches and most things he does, right? But at the end of the day, he still can't beat me in COD, and he'll just have to live with that for the rest of his life. 2-time first team All-State soccer player, dog, right? Takes care of himself. Shout out Rose as well. Lovely couple there. So yeah, shout out Foster. Grant, ankle swelling. You know what that is. Some people might with the Rolex. He pulled up to we hadn't seen Grant in a while, right? So Grant technically wasn't a part of the Bone Zone until after high school. So he dated my sister, and so it wasn't awkward for me, but like I think it was a little awkward for him sometimes. I don't care. My sister is her own person. She can do whatever she wants, right? Which caused a lot of drama naturally. So, but I never had any issue with him, and he knows that. We had a great relationship. But he finally got into the Bone Zone after we had our first cabin trip, and he pulled up with a do-rag on. We hadn't seen him in years, right? 2 years. He pulls up, built like Zeus, 8-pack, 6'4", do-rag on, shirtless. I was like, bro, like what you been doing in South Carolina? Good for you. I'll never look like that, and I'm cool with it. That's a lot of hard work, right? I like my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I like my Rocco's cake, so. And he was my cameraman at the wedding, or a vlogger at the wedding, a little camcorder. I think, who else did it? Sarah Strickland? Grant was way better. Sorry, Sarah. For my own entertainment. I'm sure yours is better for Reagan. But, did I forget anybody? You can't tell a story of my life without telling a story of Caleb Morgan as well. So, I had some great memories of Caleb throughout the years. Kindergarten on, he used to bring me newspapers. His Mo used to bring me newspapers from Columbus about Ohio State stuff. I don't got anything bad to say about the bro. Grew up with him. His last college exam was with me too. So yeah, shout out Caleb as well. Gotta tell that too. Just in general, some group chat like things we had going on. We had a bachelor trip. It was fantastic at the cabin. Not everybody was there, but it was still a good time. Cabin trips in general. Shout out Steve and Amy Locko, and I guess the rest of the Locko group while we're here. Haven, Gavin, Trevor. I've had a great time growing up around your son, and around your family. So thank you for letting me be a part of that, and thank you for letting us use the cabin. I promise we didn't put any permanent damage in it, as much as probably your own son has done. So gaming in general, Call of Duty, but just like old LAN parties we'd have in my house, mostly Sam's house. LAN parties were mostly Sam's house. So yeah, that was a fun time as well. We bought a lot of boats, about 3, one for $60. Shout out Casey for that. We were balling. Worked on that a whole bunch. But you know how it is. Like with your best friends, you're just hanging out in general. So like memories kind of go together, and it's hard to pick out specific ones over the years. And like getting food's always fun. Going to Moe's. I feel like yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. Like sorry, I keep in high school. Like Graham and Owen come out with us sometimes too. Shout out Graham, you know, and I guess. But yeah, just some cool people that I was able to experience life with so far. And speaking of cool people I got to spend my life with so far, the one I'm spending the rest of my life with is Reagan. And the favorite times I've had with her so far has been from the time, I want to say, starting when we went to Hawaii together. Shout out her cousins. We went to Hawaii together to now, right? That time period, I don't know in my life how that will ever be topped. We traveled so many places together, and you know, you're with somebody for a while, but you really start to like mature and grow up at some point in your life. And we did that. We grew up together, which is really cool to see. Hold each other accountable for a variety of different things. But you know, going out to Colorado and visiting Mike and Kipper, Iceland with Lily and Tess, you know, Norway, Alaska with Davis. Oh, I guess actually, Alaska. We'll start in Alaska. I don't know. I had a really good time in Alaska, but we'll start actually Hawaii. But yeah, so I never have to stress about what I'm saying around her. Not that I'm saying some devious stuff sometimes, but like in terms of like jokes, like the joke at the beginning of the video, she don't care, right? She knows I'm spending the rest of my life with her, and there's nothing bad that's gonna happen. So she's comfortable with herself. I'm comfortable with myself. I want to say it's just some fun times we've had together, just a variety of traveling. Can't watch movies with her. She sleeps all the time when we watch a movie, which kind of sucks because like you want to get into some new media sometimes. And I'm not going to do it. If I have my own time, I'm playing COD, right? That's one flaw she has. Endless Rocco trips we've had, anniversaries, birthdays, whatnot. One of my favorite was the power went out, the ice storm in like 2021. We didn't have any power at my house. It was freezing. But that was one of the only times where we'd be in the same bed and I wasn't getting hot, which was kind of cool. So I have a lot of things to say about her, but I won't share that with you all. But yeah, so that's definitely my favorite era of my life, was traveling with Reagan while we were in college, while we're young. And that's all possible because of our family structure we have. We're very lucky to be able to do what we've done. California trip, like Nicholas lived in California, we visited him. It wasn't that expensive at all. California, went to babysit cat sit. Like Alaska, we went to do mission trips. Like we've done it cheap, but we're able to do that because of the structure we have. So shout out my family as well. Shout out my friends, they're great as well. I'm saying as well too much. My apologies. Did I forget anything or anybody? I don't know. That's my top 10 list though. Shout out Thomas Porterfield from the Alaska trip. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. So that was my top 10 moments of my life so far. Maybe when I have kids someday, maybe they'll enter the top 10 at some point. You know, Cinemark era, which is just a job, I don't know if that'll stay there forever. The Pain and Suffering group chat, shout out them. So, all right, I'm wrapping it up. So we'll call it a good one. That's a great video, right, Shirley?